Dark, lonely roads stretching out for hours between visages of society. This was Texas before the interstates came through. Now, if one was so inclined to exit the safety of these well-traveled interstates, one could find themselves alone at night in the middle of nowhere, face to face with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. To follow up such an iconic film, the sequel has really only two options. One, double down and make the original again, only with more of everything, more gore, more scares, more, just pile it on. Or you do what our 31st night movie in the 31 Days of Horror did. You expand on the world building and present the concept in a wholly original way. From the very first frame to the very last, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 gives us an eccentric take on the Sawyer clan, whilst building their terror in unique and horrifying ways. It's creepy, it's disturbing, it's funny, it's intense, it's ridiculous, and completely horrifying. You really could not ask for more in a horror movie. Based in North Texas, this go-around, we're introduced to Stretch, a late-night DJ for KOKLA, Red River Rock and Roll, a radio station based out of good old Burke Burnett, Texas. The best hidden skeleton in the furthest reaches of Texas's closet. I grew up in Burke. Burke has never had a radio station. So Stretch records a murder over the request line on her show and teams up, kind of, with the greatest role Dennis Hopper has ever played, Lefty. He is the uncle of two of the kids from the original movie. He is, I believe, a Texas Ranger, and he is on a self-proclaimed mission to hunt down the Chainsaw Massacres. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is a wild haunted house ride of terror and excess that perfectly complements the sincere seriousness of the original movie, where it was dirty and gritty and real. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is unbelievable and excessive and just absolutely ridiculous. So they did a good job making a sequel that wasn't just a copy of the first one and wasn't a letdown, kind of like the next couple in the series were. With wacky characters mixed with absolutely brutal scenes, you will not find a better example of full tilt crazy in any other horror movie. I mean, Dennis Hopper, for God's sakes. The scene where he goes in and purchases chainsaws is fucking amazing. And when he shows up at the Sawyer clan's residence, motherfucker has holsters for chainsaws. It's so over the top. It's so out there that it's fucking amazing. This is by far my favorite of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. I enjoyed Texas Chainsaw 3D. I thought it was a decent follow-up to the original years later. The original is a classic, of course. But all of the ones in between, from Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, to A New Generation, to the remakes, they were all just copying either the original or this one. So you never got another original movie. Whereas Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 is fucking serious. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is this ridiculous, fun ride that's horrifying, but enjoyable to the right person, I suppose. So from Stretch's descent into an almost literal hell, to Leatherface falling in love, to just the absolute madhouse that is their underground lair, as well as Dennis Hopper's role in this movie is fucking ridiculousness to the max. You cannot get more out there. This movie has every damn thing you never knew you needed in a horror movie, which makes it fucking amazing. So, a fun romp into horror with extreme juxtaposition between ridiculousness and terrifying. I have to give Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 5 out of 5 burritos. It's fun, it's scary, it's disgusting, it's ridiculous, it reminds me of home, it terrifies me because it reminds me of home. Its story and its effects hold up even to this day. I mean, the story is pretty simple. They're caught on radio killing somebody, so they show up at the radio station to kill the DJ and get the tape off the air. Lefty and Stretch follow them to their compound, and the final fight between Lefty and Leatherface is fucking beautiful. Stretch's final stand atop this fucking mountain. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is definitely worth a watch. And if you haven't watched it, I would suggest watching it tonight because it's fucking phenomenal. And if you have watched it, it sits atop my rewatch list every year. It's one of the movies I have to watch during the Halloween season, simply because it's fucking phenomenal. 5 out of 5 burritos. Amazing movie. It's ridiculous. It's out there. It's horrifying. You can't go wrong with it. Because, after all, the Saw is family. So that's night 31 of 31 Days of Horror. Thank you for coming on this ride with me. And, well, I'm not going to make a video tomorrow, but stay tuned. See what else we are able to create here on Milford. Later.